Hi, I'm Rob Buckingham and welcome to Bayside TV. Today on the show we have guest artist Jake Norter and we try to make some sense of the dating world.
It's Friday night, date night. Does the man bring flowers? What about chocolates? Does he pick her up or do they meet at the restaurant? Does he pay or do they split the bill? Does he walk her to the door at the end of the night or does she catch a taxi home? And when should he call? Or does she call? Or maybe just a text? Has dating always been this complicated? Or has dating changed?
Great topic on Bayside TV. Has dating changed? And as part of our panel today, welcome to John Aiken, clinical psychologist.
Good to be here, Rob.
Give us a little bit about your background, John.
Well, look, I've been a clinical psychologist for about 17 years, specialising in giving out relationship advice to singles and couples.
OK, so you'd be the perfect man
on
the couch today.
It's an area that I'm really passionate about because I like to try and empower people to understand, you know, how better to take control of their romantic lives, so to speak.
Fabulous. Sandra Cavallo from a marketing
Hi.
and communication background.
Yes, and also advise and counsel young adults, so definitely know a lot about this area in terms of one-on-one interactions with people.
Wonderful. Phil Dorr, welcome.
Hello there, hi.
Now, you work a lot amongst young adults yourself?
Yeah, I work with young adults and I'm studying counselling as well, so very excited to be here.
Yes, and Christie B.
Oh, this is going to be a great show. I'm looking forward to it.
What are you looking forward to particularly as we discuss this subject?
Just to hear what, you know, because of course, you know, we haven't been dating for 20 years, thank God, because we've been married for almost 20. So just to hear what's going on these days is great.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I would hate to go back to the whole dating thing personally once you've kind of been married, but what about dating these days, John, from your perspective?
Yeah, well, look, I've been fortunate enough to do quite a deal of work with RSVP, and that's given me an insight into online dating, particularly in today's world. And it really is a large part of people's options now to go online, to look at people that are in fact eligible but suitable, like-minded, and to start going out with them. And that's something that wasn't around when I was sort of dating before I got married. You know, so that's a real major player now in the dating field.
Idea of percentages of what number of people would actually meet a partner through?
Yeah, well, look, there's 2 million members on RSVP, for instance, and they've been responsible for around about 8,000 marriages, 900 babies. So it is something that's really taken a hold. And they do research all the time with, you know, to find out what sort of online percentages are being used. And, you know, around about 48% of Australians are using online dating, which is very high.
They're actually saying there's about 80 million users worldwide on online at the moment.
80 million. So your role, are you actually the online matchmaker? Is that
no? What I do is I blog for them.
Sort of like a modern day Cupid. Do they have a modern day Cupid on? Like, how do they do the matching?
Well, essentially, it depends on what site you're looking at. If you're looking at online dating in general, you've got to figure out whether you want to be matched up or whether you want to sort of do that process yourself.
Right.
And different sites will have different advantages. And then from there, you get on. You've got to write a profile, get a photo. It's a whole process that I didn't know anything about really until, you know, obviously it started and then has become really a major force in the dating world.
Yeah. Phil, from your work with young adults, is online dating a big thing amongst the young adults that you know?
Yeah, I've had a really close friend actually who was doing the online dating thing, and he had a really good time with it, but ultimately he ended up seeing someone who he'd known all along that he'd known.
The girl next door type thing.
So he had a couple of interesting situations come from it, but ultimately the best person for him was someone he already knew.
Someone you knew already, yeah. What about you, Sandra?
Yeah, definitely. I think a lot of young adults are putting their finger in the pool, so to speak, and giving it a go because it seems to be the way to meet people. I think people are looking for opportunities to meet people, and online, even though there used to be a stigma about it, it seems to be losing that stigma now. It seems to be a socially acceptable way to do it.
Why did there used to be a stigma associated with online dating?
Well, it's a very good question. I think it's very confronting. Your public profile is on a website, and there you are for the taking. It's like,
but could it be as well? I mean, I know that there's an emotional buy-in to that idea, but could it be as well that like people didn't even shop years ago online, whereas now people do. Like, what can you not do online, really?
Online,
well, it's a bit like, you know, the classifieds. There are ads in the newspaper. I'm looking for a single woman, whatever. It's a bit like that, but now it's a public forum where everybody can see your
it's
profile.
become more normalised option. Because like now, the days of, like years ago, there was the days of the dance or the, I don't know, I mean, that was before my time, but, you know, there was options that were social activities, but there's not really. I mean, if you go to a nightclub nowadays, I mean, you wouldn't even get to know anybody because you couldn't hear them, let alone...
I don't know, it's been so long since I've been to a nightclub, I wouldn't know. So what's it like, John?
Well, being a new father, I've sort of forgotten much of it myself, actually. But what I would say about online dating is that you still, you know, part one is meeting somebody, perhaps online, and getting to know them, but you've still got to do that face-to-face, which is the second stage of it.
Right.
And so there's no getting away from the fact that chemistry, meeting someone, conversation, getting to know them in person is still a key player in finding someone special.
Well, it's very funny you should say that, because we had dinner the other night with a Jewish friend of ours, and they had an online relationship via email. No photographs were allowed by either of their friends. They built this incredible friendship up.
Only by writing to
Only
each
by
other.
writing, which is like fairly full on. And because they had done that before they met, you know, they had already gotten to know each other for more than just the outside opinions.
Yeah, I've had a similar experience. Got to know someone via email for a period of time and absolutely connected. And then when I met them face to face, I went, oh, no, don't connect with you.
Which is a really good point. You know, you've got to go to that second stage.
You have to.
I think the online component is very important. Like, I had someone that I'd met outside of the internet, but then used the internet to get to know them a little bit more through Facebook messaging and get their phone number and then create times to meet up. So I think there's a synergy when you create the two face to face, and there's a lot. There's a lot you can learn from someone face-to-face that you can't learn from a well-phrased sentence in the mannerisms or the idiosyncrasies. I think that are also important.
I'm actually fascinated to know from your perspective, John, it seemed like years ago, say parents' generation, the dance, so to speak, where, you know, a guy sees the girl across the dance floor, likes her, invites her to a dance, and next thing you know, they're off. There's a marriage like a month down the track. These days it seems a little bit more complex, a little bit more complicated. Do you know why that may be?
Well, I think roles have changed, and I think people now are ambitious. They've got careers, they've got dreams that they want to fulfil, and they're pretty happy to go about, you know, going after their goals. And it means then that when you meet someone, you know, you don't stop everything. You kind of work in with all of this, and it's complicated. There might be travel, there might be, you know, high-powered careers that are going on, and it's not as straightforward as it once was. And where singles get into difficulties is that often they have obstacles that they're putting up unknowingly that hold them back. So when they meet someone that's good for them, they're also working 100 hours a week. And so they
not
can't
having the time to actually get to know the person.
And that's just one of the many obstacles that singles can put up.
Yeah, absolutely. We're going to go to a break in just a moment, but any unspoken rules in regard to online dating particularly?
Oh, with online dating, I think you've got to be honest. You know, you don't want to try and put yourself across as someone that you're not.
Put your own picture up.
Just to put your own one up. I mean, you've got no worries with that, Rob. You're a good-looking man, but you don't want to be trying to be something that you're not. Putting up an old photo or saying things about your personality that clearly aren't true. So honesty is very important. Also, treating people with respect in terms of sending back emails and doing those sorts of things.
Honesty, respect. We'll come back and unpack this a little bit more. Don't go anywhere, because after the break we have Street Talk with Campbell van der Sluis.
In our modern day society, there's so many different ways of meeting people. So what is the right way to date? What is the right way to date?
I don't think there is a right or a wrong way to date. Just throw yourself in there, get out there and do it.
Well, look, I mean, I'm with my girlfriend now and she's really cool. I mean, we get along really well simply because of the fact that we just get each other in so many ways. So, I mean, there is a right way to date, and it's just constant communication and distance at times.
What is the right way to date?
be yourself, have fun, and have a good sense of humour.
I think it's about balance with your relationship, becoming friends with your partner, bit of give and take, not being so selfish about certain things, and just enjoying yourself.
Treat your lady right, be a gentleman, open doors, pull out chairs, that kind of stuff.
It's very chivalrous.
Yep.
Be yourself, be natural, and have an escape plan.
Very, very good. Why an escape plan?
Just in case it's not going so well, I'm having coffee with a friend later, so I gotta go, or have the friend call you and say, someone's died, I need to go very quickly.
What is the best way to date?
The best way to date? I don't know. What is the best way to date? Campbell, you look like you've got a bit of experience.
Are you asking me? And no one's really thrown the question back on me before. But I'm asking you.
I first met my husband rollerblading. That's probably why my son's out here skating now.
Okay. So your relationship really rolled along?
You could say so.
Oh, what a dreadful joke at the end there. Really rolled along. It's good to see he was on the ball on that one.
Humour.
What about the lady with the escape plan? What's your comment on that, guys?
Well, look, I mean, what she's saying there is that, you know, if things aren't going that well on the date, you need to be able to get out. And
I think it's great.
Totally.
Yeah, and I think also that goes into the whole idea of safety. It's really important that, you know, when you are meeting people for the first time, to make sure that you're doing it in a public place, generally, you know, in the daytime, you know, a cafe or a restaurant, and not giving out personal details, things like where you're living or any financial details, which can be an issue online.
Absolutely.
Okay. Yeah.
I found it fascinating in that street talk just about, you know, the guy's got to open the door.
Yeah. Chivalry.
Chivalry.
Yes.
And I think, I mean, I'm curious to know about the rules. I mean, I think people are wanting to know, are there rules in dating? Should the guy be doing that? Should the guy be initiating?
Well, is it a rule?
Definitely.
Is it a rule or is it just a kindness? I mean, I think if you make it a rule, then it becomes like, you know, I'm going to tick all the boxes.
But what are the expectations?
I mean, Rob ticked all the boxes for me. I mean, he walked on the outside. You know, he opened the doors.
So there's an expectation that you had, though.
Absolutely, because you know why? That was what my dad did. So therefore I had. But I still get miffed if a man walks in front of me. But I've also known men who get told off for holding the door open.
It makes you feel special as well.
Yeah.
I mean, I heard a quote that said, people don't remember so much of what you said, but how they made you feel.
That's right.
And those little gestures can really impact.
He's just the
He's going to get snapped up.
He's already snapped.
Well, he's snapped.
For obvious reasons.
But do you think, like Sandra was saying, do you think there are like rules now, rules of engagement, so to speak?
Well, I think it will depend on the person and what they're like. You were talking about your father and the expectations you had as a result of that.
Absolutely.
And I think our upbringing will influence what we do when we go on dates, how we treat men and women.
It raises the bar very high if you've had a good example, though.
It really does, and I think that's a great message. Often I say to clients is, you know, how you're talking to your wife or husband here is really modelling communication for your little ones.
Yes.
So you need to step it up and raise the bar here.
Yeah, but there are some, I mean, I think today guys are expecting that girls should initiate. They should initiate the first date.
There's something so exciting about when a guy initiates, though, I think.
Absolutely. I'm a traditionalist.
Yeah.
I am
Are we old-fashioned? Are we stuck?
Well, I liked making the first move on my wife. There's no doubt about that.
So how would you have felt if she had done that to you? Like, are we traditionalists, or are there other, you know?
I don't know. I mean, it's the same as I've got a friend whose wife proposed to him, and that was sort of.
And how did he feel about that?
He was shocked. He kind of didn't expect it. But
did he say yes?
He did say yes.
Did?
Yeah.
Are they married?
They are married, but that was one of those. I mean, you take it a step further, don't you? Those traditional roles have, I think, started to merge a lot more.
But is that the commonplace? Like,
No,
do we need to shift
so.
from our No, so we don't need to shift from that traditional thinking of the man making the first move.
There is confusion, though. This is the thing. You talk to young people, there is a confusion. Guys kind of expect, well, why do I have to initiate everything? Why can't the girl do it?
I'm a little bit old-fashioned. I think that it's great that there's an innate desire inside a woman that says, I want to be rescued.
I am with you, brother.
hang on a little minute. Just hang on a minute. Rescued or wooed? Wooed.
That's probably a better term.
Wooed. Like,
yes.
rescued makes me feel like
Weak and
inadequate.
Yeah.
But you know, I can do weak and inadequate if it helps the cause. You know, because that's your problem, Sandra. You are she is just such a strong, amazing woman. And guys get threatened by that. And I say to her, sometimes you just got to drop a hanky. You just got to cry. Tears work. So that's, you see, that's what you're saying.
Yeah, that's what I think.
Well, you know, the great thing about this conversation is that we're talking about what we want from a partner. And one of the really important things you need to do when you're single and you're in the game looking, you need to stop and think about what is it that I need? What does an ideal partner, what do they look like? What are they made up? Is it sense of humour, the personality, you know, their social skills? What is it that's important to me? Rather than just having a hit or miss approach.
Yeah.
Are there specific things that we should all look for, I say we generically, in a potential partner? Well,
I think there are certain things that you want to be similar on. Values and beliefs are really important.
Yes.
Yeah. You know,
so is that from family of origin, or you setting up a value system?
Yeah, I would say it's probably more the ones that you carry around for you. So, you know, if religion is very important to you, then and that's how you want to raise your kids and those sorts of things, you want to be on the same page with your partner on that front.
Very true.
But also around money, around parenting and discipline. These are major core values that you want to know, you know, where you stand. So I think that's important. Having shared interests is good.
Can I ask just on the shared interests, because I have a friend who's a personal trainer, and he actually, because he does that the whole time, he said, I'd rather that my wife or girlfriend was not into that, so that I can have my little world and she can have her little world, but then we have a common thing as well. Like, is that, so you don't have to be...
No, you don't have to, but independence and being able to do things on your own is also important. I'd say as well, being able to communicate as a team is very important in a long-term relationship, which you know plenty about. You know, it's not easy, and even as a relationship psychologist, I get it wrong with my wife plenty of times. She would tell you that.
Yeah.
But you kind of have to repair and move forward and still work as a team. And if you can do that, then that is another really key part of a healthy relationship.
Because one thing you've got going for you, John, as a clinical psychologist, is that you could actually look in a mirror and counsel yourself in those situations.
Yeah, but that's like physician heal thyself. I mean, this is the hard thing. You can do all those things, you can apply them all, but there's that incredible emotion involved.
That's right, you're human beings. So, and you know, sometimes the words will be coming out of my mouth, and I'm thinking, don't say that, John. Don't go there. It comes out, and I'm thinking,
it would be like exactly what you tell people
I've done the reading. I know what the textbooks say, but I didn't stop myself. And that's because we're humans. You know, we make mistakes along the way, but it's the repairing part of it that's so key.
Yeah.
One of the girls mentioned on the video just before that the best thing is to be yourself. And I think at first, like, being good friends is a really important...
That is so true.
Well, that was us. I mean, we were amazing friends, and then somebody said to me, I think there's more than friendship in that. He's describing your hair with, like, blonde with golden strands. This is not normal, Christie. There's something that is going on here. I'm like, no, we're just friends.
And the way her eyes sparkle.
We talk for hours on the phone.
Yeah.
Hours.
Oh, hours. Hours. All evening.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah. And then the next thing you know, I proposed and she
declined.
And she declined. She said it's too fast. So I said, OK, don't say another word. And I said, somewhere down the track, I'll ask you again. And I did a week later.
And then I said yes, because I thought I better just give in.
That's right. Otherwise, 3 strikes and you're out. You know.
Absolutely.
We're running out of time, but you know, we talked about online dating. Just very quickly, what are the other types of ways that you can meet people? We'll start with you, John, and go around.
Well, I think, you know, friends is a great way to do it because they know you and therefore they'll have an idea of what will suit. It's not always a good fit, but that's not a bad start. Work is really important place to consider because you've got people there that you'll understand their work ethic and how they interact with people and you don't have to show your hand, you can actually watch from a distance and get to know them, so work can be one of those places as well.
Cool. Sandra, a final word on dating for you personally?
I guess give it a go and don't get disheartened if it doesn't work out. Just pick yourself up and keep on going.
Great. Phil?
Take a few risks and have a try.
Great.
Yeah.
Christie B.
I would agree with John. You know, ask your friends. Do they know anybody? Because they do know you well.
Yeah.
And, you know, you just don't know.
Well, we met through friends.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Very good. Stay tuned. After the break, we have Jake Norter performing live for us. Welcome back to Bayside TV. I want to thank my guests today, John Aiken.
It's great to be here, Rob.
Wonderful. Sandra Cavallo.
Thank you, Rob.
Phil Dorr.
It's been fun.
And Christie B.
Wasn't that a great show?
It was a good show.
I loved it.
Very good indeed. Now performing his song Here With You. This is Jake Norter.
A part of me wants to love you. A part of me knows I can. A part of me is trying, but part of me isn't there. No, I don't wanna hurt you, but I know I will. A part of me wonders if you love me still. A part of me runs to you. A part of me falls behind. A part of me tries to turn back at the finish line. No, I don't wanna fail you, but I know I will. A part of me wonders how you love me still. 'Cause this time it's forever. I know more than ever that I got it right. Oh, and sweet dreams tell me nothing. I need hope and something. That I found it right here with you. A part of me tries to follow. A part of me's letting go. A part of me's still hiding. This part of me you don't know. No, I don't wanna give up. I just know I will. A part of me wonders how you love me still. Because I know what it takes to love me still. Yeah. 'Cause this time it's forever. I know more than ever that I got it right. Oh, and sweet dreams tell me nothing. I need hope and something, and I found it right, right with you. Because this time it's forever.